So as we all know by now, Cloud Strife has been confirmed for Smash 4, and as a result people have already been busy extracting and analysing what they can from the trailer to see just what kind of character Cloud is, as well as getting a general idea of how much potential he could have. However, there are still a handful of details you may have missed out on, which I hope to cover in this video. Before I begin, let me start by directing you guys to Gimmer's trailer analysis from a couple of days ago. It's very well presented and edited while being concise and doing a good job covering his potential frame data after breaking down the footage frame by frame. I'd also recommend checking out Game Explains too, and while I feel they may have got a few things wrong in places, it does give a more accessible and general idea of the contents of the trailer as a whole. Links to both of the videos will be in the description. Now without further ado, let's begin. While Gimmer covered the majority of frame data estimates, there are still a couple he didn't cover that are present here. Notably Cloud's jump squat, spot dodge, rolls, and grab. Upon breaking down the video at the noted sections frame by frame, I concluded that Cloud has a 5 frame jump squat, a 27 frame spot dodge, a 31 frame roll, and a dash grab startup of 9 or 10 frames. From here we can make the following assumptions. The first is that the intangibility of the spot dodge lasts from frames 3 to 17, and the second is that the intangibility of his rolls lasts from frames 4 to 18, as forward and back rolls have identical timings across the cast. These make his spot dodge and rolls identical to that of Marth, Lucina and Roy in terms of timings. The third assumption is that he'll have a frame 7 standing grab and a frame 10 or 11 pivot grab. Frame 7 is the standard standing grab startup for every non-tether grab sword user in the game barring the pits, while pivot grabs for every sword character occur 1 frame after the dash grab does. Oh, and a frame 5 jump squat is the standard for a character of Cloud's size and general character archetype. The only other possibility, based on the frame count on the video, is that it's a frame 4 startup, which is too fast for this sort of character. I do want to stress that these are all calculated assumptions based on the 30 FPS video, and as a result they're not fact, so don't take them as gospel. Now moving on to the additional details I've observed with Cloud's specials. The first is that Cloud's side B, his cross slash, seems to be a wrecker special, a special where you can initiate follow-up attacks with additional button presses, like Marth's dancing blade. If you look carefully between the 3 clips of cross slash, the timing between the strikes is different. In the first clip, there is a greater delay between the first and second strikes. In the second, the delay is more in between the second and third strikes, while in the third there is no delay between any of the strikes. This would in theory allow you to mix up how you use this move to pressure opponents in the same way you can with Marth's dancing blade. The limit break version of cross slash seems to either have invincibility or armor frames during the startup, as we can see the clank bubble from Fox's dash attack, showing that the move interacted with Cloud but didn't deal any sort of knockback to him. The limit break version of Cloud's neutral beam, the blade beam, does enough damage to kill a blue Pikmin instantly. Assuming the Pikmin was fresh and undamaged, this means the move does at least 11%. However, the Pikmin doesn't die until the last hit, which means prior to the final hit the move will deal under 11%. However, considering that this is a limit break attack and consequently has a high cost, it is likely to overall deal more than 11%. Finishing touch, Cloud's limit break down B, has a zoom in and slowdown effect on contact with the opponent. Only one other attack in the game has this sort of cinematic effect.
Let it rip.
That's right, Little Mac's KO punch. As a result, it wouldn't be unreasonable that the two would be comparable in terms of power. Finishing touch in Final Fantasy VII was Cloud's penultimate limit break before Omnislash, and was able to instant kill standard enemies. While I doubt it will be a true instant kill, much like how KO punch isn't a true instant kill, it will likely be able to kill at very early percents based on this. Now for a couple of really fine details that anyone could have easily missed. In the clip where Bahamut Zero appears, Cloud dashes in quickly and interrupts his dash with a jab. While foxtrots to jab are a thing already in Smash 4, this looked even quicker than that, as Cloud didn't even look like he had landed and finished his dash yet. As a result, this could show either an exploit exclusive to Cloud, or even more radically, a future engine update, though I'll admit this is wishful thinking. Finally, in the clip that precedes the Omnislash clip, as the screen fades to white after Bahamut Zero's laser hits, we can just about see Cloud use his Blade Beam on Pit. As the Blade Beam strikes, Cloud flashes, and though it's hard to make out, gains a blue aura identical to that of when he charged his Limit Break earlier in the trailer. This implies that the gauge can be filled both manually, taking about 6 seconds without any additional influence, and by landing his Limit Break attacks. This somewhat resembles Project M Ivysaw's Solar Beam mechanics, where that move can either be manually charged using its Neutral B synthesis, or by landing the sweet spots of its Spore-based attacks. Even with the information dissected so far, it's very difficult to pinpoint just how much potential Cloud could have in the meta. Not only is there still a lot we don't know about him, such as his aerial landing lag on 3 of his aerials, his auto-cancel timings, the recovery time on a lot of his key moves, and how effective his grab game will be, but we still don't quite understand how his Limit Break mechanics work, and how they can be used to take Cloud to new heights. For this reason, I'm personally excited to see Cloud included in Smash. As someone who worked on Cloud's moveset mod years ago, I'm still in disbelief that he's becoming an actual official part of Smash now. I may not be much of a Final Fantasy fan, and heck, I haven't even played any of the main games. The closest I've come to playing a Final Fantasy RPG is playing through Bravely Default. However, seeing such a huge icon in gaming and the face of JRPGs make it into Smash is truly something special. Needless to say, I'll be investing a lot of time into Cloud once he's released, exploring the character to the best of my ability and trying my best to play him at a high level. After all, you already know me as that one guy from the UK who plays a pretty mean, big sword-wielding blonde anime swordsman. Might as well have another under my belt. Thanks a bunch for watching and stay tuned for more analyses and content in the future. Peace!